Hello, everybody. Welcome to a video I hope that would never have to be made, but I promised you from the jump that there would be accountability and there would be truth. I will not deviate from that. And what I'm talking about is, as you will see, people accessing a response from me. Didn't want to make it, but people deserve an update. So here we are. Apologies if you can hear any ambient noise out from the outside. I've got the window open. I'm in a small new office space, and as you can see, because I haven't fixed it up or anything at this point, we can probably hear the wind in the trees, which isn't too bad. So anyway, people of Gateshead Community Stadium project. As many as you know, I've been working on that for a few months since we found out the day after the season ended that we couldn't enter the playoffs. Now, I was going to do an hour-long breakdown with receipts, point by point, all of that, and I still might, but this is going to be a short update. You'll see why as we go on, and as you'll see at the end, my inbox is always open. So let's start. So what we got, I've got some notes. So if I'm looking down, that's why I've got a lot of work on. One of the other reasons I'm making this is I've just got loads of work to do, and I haven't got time to mess about with the stuff I'm about to detail, to be honest. Right. So let's have a look. As you know, I was in dialogue with Martin Gannon up until Wednesday, the 22nd of May. He asked previous to that for some a meeting date time. So I gave him that, sent him the updated version of the stadium plan, the 8,500 word version 2.0. And I've heard nothing back from him since whatsoever. At all. Nothing. So moving on to the board of Gateshead FC, that is. And just to contextualize it, I'm absolutely a person who's stuck up for the board on multiple occasions on my platform, Milk the Cow, in the comments on Gateshead Social so many times. I mean, I'll not go into the details of it, but, you know, where they've been getting absolutely slated for things that were done and weren't done. And also constantly in the comments, the Heat Army podcast, which I'm an avid and regular viewer, which I miss greatly, and I wish you should bring it back. Because I actually, like, for it to be out of me schedule is like really bad. It's almost as bad as the football not being on. But anyway, the board have not contacted me at all since the start, save for once, and this was after people had harangued them for months. So anyway, I'll go through point by point. Right, where are we? Where are we here? So yes, 21st of June, Bernard sent us a message on Facebook Messenger asking to give him a ring. Well, he's got my phone number and I'd already WhatsApped him. This was because that week I had sent just an email request. Like tonight we were going to be doing a live Q&A, and I'd asked the board. I emailed 3 of them. These were the email addresses I could get, and they didn't respond to that at all. To do the fans Q&A tonight, didn't respond to the emails. Didn't acknowledge receipt of the emails either, and didn't, as far as I know, haven't read the 8,500 word stadium proposal, or indeed the few thousand word initial proposal that I wrote between the Saturday afternoon of interviewing Gannon and then sent it to him on the Monday morning. This, to me, is obviously, you know, it speaks for itself. You didn't need me filling in the gaps for you here. Like, there's no point. Like, if people are going to just air you off, what can you do? You know, if people will not engage professionally in communication with you on something which is a professional project, I mean, you can see Anybody who's read that second version can see that we're no mugs. We want to do this, and I am absolutely willing to fan the embers of this still. I don't hold grudges. I don't care. This is about our community. It's not about a football club. It's not about a council. It's not about all of those things. It's about people, and people need things to inspire them, especially in 2024. The feedback I've been getting from people, and I thank absolutely everybody for that, has been overwhelmingly positive. There's an obvious need for this. There's an obvious will for this, but where it has stopped is the board of Gateshead FC, because they haven't contacted me at all. And when I was in dialogue with Martin Gannon, he referenced that there might be a bit of work to do there to get this over the line. Now, I don't know what's going on, right? And as I said, I was going to do, here's the receipts, here's this, here's that. What's the point? There's no point in this. I want this to work. Still, I might be a mug. I might be this, that, and the third. Call us whatever you wish, or don't. But what I'm saying is, we really can get this going. It can be done. I want to, like, one out of quite a few that are interested, I want to thank specifically Matt from the Thunder Rugby League Club. They've sent us a letter on a letterhead saying they'd love to be involved as we go along the process, and couldn't have been easier to work with in that regard. Matt met with us. I explained what it was, seemed right into it. Lovely man he is. And he took it to their board, and the board signed that off and sent a letter. So, there's so many people who want to be involved in this. At this point, it's not even about Gateshead FC. It might have been triggered by what happened, which was the fact that we couldn't get into the playoffs. And, there's questions that should be getting asked. And I just don't understand, like, how this has evolved like this. Now, let's be real, because we cannot make this any better unless we're honest. This isn't just me that's having this experience, like trying to like even getting phone calls returned from the club. The club quite clearly need some support, but you can't support a thing if it's. I don't want to say the club, the board. I think we should be really clear. I don't know, like, the club is everybody. The board's part of that, but the board are not the club. I mean, we talk about like we're fans this, fans that. Yes, they are fans and have stepped up. And I want to make this really clear, because some of them do know I was there investigating the people who had the club before, Cala. And they know, and I know what they did, and I have a great amount of respect for them stepping up then. But it cannot just be about that. And look, we lost a point the season before, right? We couldn't get in the playoffs even though we qualified the season after. Accountability makes things better, right? That's twice in 2 seasons. I don't have trust that we're going forward in a cohesive fashion because of that. But the experience that I've had, or lack of, with you when I've done all of this work, and you couldn't even acknowledge receipt of email, or even when one of yous was on camera on the Heat Army podcast when this first started, and you were asked, have you contacted him? When I wrote the first version, you said everything but, and then went off talking about everything but that. You didn't answer. So what I'm concerned about is, well, a multitude of things. The stadium itself, right? We've been talking about, there was something that came out. And let's actually, like, as one example of many that I could have done, which I'm not going to do because, with all good faith, let's draw a line under it if you want to move forward. But we'll have to, like, give one example at least. So, let me have a look. Yeah, so the day that this was on the 17th of June, by the way. This was just like, look, will you will you come to the table? Will you actually even like get into some dialogue? Um, when that happened, within I think it was about an hour, the Trust the Progress infographic went out on the club's socials. 2 hours after that, roughly, um, the statement went out. And I'm just going to be really candid because we can't move forward unless truth. And like, I don't want to look, I'm going to be really clear. I don't want to be doing this. I'm having to do this, right? Because I'm setting up an investigative journalism bureau and other projects. It's really important work for just the wider stuff. So I haven't really got time for this at the minute, that is. But here's the thing, right? How can I trust, or anybody trust the progress or whatever the progress is, when these things are happening and not happening that I've been detailing here, just on a very basic level? Like, you can't reply to a text or an email. And meanwhile, things just tick on and tick on and tick on, which obviously, if we were to apply Occam's razor, which is the like sort of most obvious potential, it worries me, given we've lost a point and we couldn't go for promotion, that this kind of thing is just going to keep happening, because this is the experience that I've had as an individual, and I can only speak for myself. However, anecdotally, I can tell you, people haven't been backwards and coming forwards to tell me about similar experiences like this. So if it's going to be that basic, then we'll have to talk on this basic level. Because look, at the end of the day, I'm a fan of this club. And not only that, more than that, I'm a fan of Gateshead as a place. It's our place. It's not perfect, but everything doesn't have to be shit at all. Everything does not have to be shit. Are we just going to keep going on and on and on? Oh no, that happened. Who could have possibly foreseen it? Let us forward plan as a community and make this better. You can probably tell by the exasperation in my voice, I do not understand this. So anyway, you mentioned in statement plan B. Now, we wouldn't want anybody to get the wrong impression, because you haven't contacted us. So the plan B is definitely not the people at Gateshead Community Stadium that I'm aware of. You may have had internal conversations. I don't know. But from my perspective as the author of that document, that's not it. So if your plan B, right, does not include the profits from the stadium going back to fund community projects like the Community Foundation, even the club, even the Thunder, like all of the link up work we could do with the colleges and everything like that for young people. There's so much we can do generated by the stadium, events, all of this type of thing. There's a rationale for it. It's very detailed. I've been doing it since the 90s. I understand the sector, right? If your plan B doesn't include that, I've got some questions for you for today. So here they are. If I can find them, there's a lot in these notes. Right, plan B. Is it going to spread the profit around the community? If not, where does the profit go to specifically? Where's the funding coming from for the stadium, and what would those funders want in return? And look, if it's the Saudis or whatever, then there's not many things which would make me tap out, but it would be that. So if you want short of us, just do that. Well, like, as a fan, that is, not as a journalist. Speaking of journalism, right? You kind of keep throwing up softball questions or no questions at all. So, with the best will in the world changed. The world changed when we couldn't get promoted. It's the job of journalism to interrogate this stuff. And I've done that, right? There's other things that I could be talking about. Sorry, we've done that, because it isn't just me. We've got mutual aid all over, and I help people with their things. They help people with mine. And that's been happening. And I'm not, everything's fixable. Everything is fixable. But the reason I've got this energy is because I've been disrespected. You can't even reply. However, and that goes for Gannon as well. Like, at the end of the day, right, here's the narrative, right, that's been going on. The Kunsel this, the Kunsel that, the Kunsel third. People want to, like, chuck blame around, right? Make sure it's based on evidence, though. Make sure it's, like, if you want to do blame, but make sure it's based on truth. And speaking of blame, when people like me do step up and tell the truth like this, you know, you get backlash for it, right? But I've covered my arse on that, and everything's truthful. So if that's how it's going to be, I would suggest that's not a good idea. What we're going to do is I'm going to go away. I'm taking it, as I said, I'm setting up like some important work elsewhere. So just generally, I am taking a break from social media over the summer. I mean, I reserve the right to bring it back if I need to promote certain bits of work and whatever. But I'm just doing that. So September, start the new season. Between now and then, Milk the Cow Podcast at gmail.com. That's Milk the Cow Podcast at gmail.com. You already have it. It's the one I sent. It's the one I've been using to contact Martin Gannon, to contact the board. Now, transfer window, I believe, opens today. So it's going to be incredibly interesting to see what happens going forwards. As is the election this week. So I could have done a whole chronology about dates and things like that. Because look, I've been disrespected pretty profoundly. Well, like I'm not good enough to even reply to or something now. Wrong idea. But anyway, I don't hold grudges. I'll accept apologies. And if you want a meeting, let's meet. Let's move forwards, and I'll just laugh about it because I don't care. What I care about is Gateshead as a place. The football club's part of that, but it's just one component part of our community, right? And I swear to you, if we let this opportunity slip, we've let the next generations down. And here's the thing, right? What's your business plan for the club? Like, what is it? Because there's certain things which are cause for concern beyond this. So if it's not this, where the profits come back to the club from a stadium, which would seem like the ultimate gift horse, what's the plan? Waiting to hear from you. Milk the Cow Podcast at gmail.com. Gateshead might be a shithole, but we call it our home and it should be respected. So let's respect it and crack on. All the best, everybody.